Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are doing a highly requested, long-awaited 2024 updated workout routine. I'm going to be taking you guys throughout my entire week of workouts. We're going over lower body, upper body, we're doing some HIIT, we're doing some core, we're hitting all the body parts in today's video. I'm so happy I am finally presenting this video concept for you guys because I know I've had quite a few of you guys asking for the longest. So with all of that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and let's go ahead and get into day one of my workouts of the week. Alright you guys, so starting off with day one, as we do every workout, we are starting off with a warm-up. Warm-up is always the exact same. There was one warm-up I normally do and I didn't show within this video, but I mean, it's completely fine. I still stretched every body part that I was wanting to get through before getting into the workout. I should also mention that I start off every workout with 5.5 minutes specifically on the Stairmaster. I don't know why that's just been the number for the longest, but I kind of use that as like a full body warm-up and to just get my heart rate moving a bit before we get into the actual stretches. Also, if you guys do pay attention, none of these stretches that I'm doing I'm holding for long periods of time, because it is suggested to do more of a dynamic stretch before you get into your workout. And dynamic stretching is basically movement-based stretching. This stretch right here is actually a perfect example. See how I'm like warming up and stretching my body, but we're still, you know, there's movement involved. Even the more static stretches where I'm not moving necessarily, I make sure to not hold anything for over 10 seconds before, like, prior to my workout. You don't want to stretch out your body too much prior to your workout because we don't want to lose that elasticity in our muscles because we're just getting started. So it's suggested to do more static stretching where you're holding the stretches for a longer period of time after your workout to kind of, you know, bring your heart rate down. And, you know, after our muscles are already wiped from our workout, you know, we're gonna need some more static stretching, just a little more of an intense stretch, just to, you know, relax our bodies after an intense workout. And also, not to mention, it's really going to help with soreness. You're gonna be a lot less sore if you make sure to stretch after your workout, especially after a crazy pump. I literally don't know how I didn't crack my head open during this last one. Alright you guys, so to start off this lower body day, specifically quads and calves, we are starting off with some close stance elevated heel squats. I've had this exercise as a part of my routine for probably at least the last 5 years. They just burn so good and they're so great for your quads. So elevating your heels with this squat exercise actually makes it easier for your knees to go forward. So therefore you're able to feel this exercise more in your quads as opposed to a regular squat with your heels not elevated. So yes, elevating your heels is going to put more stretch and focus on your quads. So it's actually forcing your quads to work harder. So I really only feel this exercise in my quads. It is an insane burn sensation strictly in the front of your legs. So we kind of start this exercise with a moderate weight for us. My friend and I, we use very similar weights for our exercises. So we started with a 40 and I think this is 60 now. The amount of weight does not matter. Weight is relative, and you know, a weight that one person uses is not going to be the weight another person uses, and you could use like 50% of what someone else is using and feel the same exact burn, because everybody's body's different, everybody weighs different, and everybody has different levels of strength. So for others it's not going to take as much weight to get that same burn, if that makes sense. So we do 3 sets of 10 reps for this exercise. Also, not all, but majority of the exercises I'm going to be showing you guys throughout this video can be done with no weight. And if you've never done any of these exercises before, I would highly suggest you try them first with no weight. You know, start to become familiar with these movements, learn proper form, and then you can add weight onto the exercises. Although in this video I am showing you guys the exercises I typically like to go throughout my week. These do alternate to an extent, but I am not a professional. You know, I'm sharing the knowledge that I know and tips that I can give in order to make things easier and more understandable for you guys. But I am not perfect and I'm still learning as I go.
All right, you guys, so the next exercise that we did for our quad and calf day are weighted step ups. Weighted step ups are a great single leg exercise that strengthens your entire lower body actually. So these are really good to just build strength all around. These are also good to improve your stability and your balance. These definitely take balance as you are kind of, you know, lifting that leg from a higher elevated surface. These can definitely be done in an easier way if you'd like to kind of work your way up to doing what I'm doing, such as, you know, kind of being on this box or bench, whatever you happen to be using, and just kind of be on the side closest to the window so you're able to kind of hold on to a wall or, you know, something of some sort with one hand and maybe carrying a dumbbell with the other, or no weight to start off with these. I'm only really showing the variation that I typically do as this is my workouts of the week, but I can actually leave videos linked down below for each exercise to kind of give you guys a better understanding of how these exercises are done, and they may use, you know, just better examples or terminology or just demonstrations in order to explain things, you know, as best as possible to make things the least intimidating and confusing for you guys. I will say my biggest tip with this exercise, as you guys can kind of see, I'm really driving from the leg that is on the box. This is a movement that's best done slow and controlled, as most exercises. Mind to muscle connection is definitely beneficial. This way I'm really focusing on, you know, using that front leg to really push through my quad. So that's where I'm feeling this exercise the most. It could be easy with this exercise to kind of use that back leg to help kind of push you up, you know, use momentum from your back leg, but that is going to take away from the exercise and you're not going to get as much out of it if you are basically using your back leg as kind of a shortcut to get yourself up onto the box. Honestly, with any of these exercises, you really are going to get out what you put in. So, you know, if you're wanting, although it's not always intentional, but sometimes it can be, to kind of, you know, take shortcuts with exercises and kind of work our way around things to make them feel easier in the moment. But if you really pay attention and you really put your mind to it, you'll realize your body will prolong itself throughout the exercise a lot longer than you think it actually can go. And I'm not sharing this in an unhealthy way. It's always good to listen to our bodies. It really all just comes down to it's okay to feel the burn, and that burn is a good sign. We don't want to stop once we start feeling the burn in the challenge. Alright, you guys, so the next exercise that we're going to be doing for our quad and calf day are front lunges. Front lunges work your entire lower body, but you really feel these in your quads. We also do backwards lunges. We didn't end up doing them this week, but those you're going to feel a lot more in your glutes and hamstrings. But since this is our quad and calf day, we're really wanting to focus on the front of our legs more, opposed to the calves. But bear with me because this is actually going to be a superset. I'm just kind of showing you guys how I like to do the front lunges first. So my form may not be perfect, but I will just say my biggest things are just make sure you're keeping your chest up, you're not rounding over your body into the movement. I'm also trying to strictly push from that leg I'm lunging with the absolute best I can. I really don't want to try to use that back leg as, you know, support to get back up, because I'm really wanting to work those quad muscles. So right after we finish with our front lunges, we're grabbing a lighter weight. I like to use 20-pound dumbbells for this exercise, and we are doing our calf raises. Calf raises, as mentioned in the name, work your calves. There's a calf raise machine that's actually in our gym. I've just always done them this way, like ever since, gymnastics. This is the way I've done calf raises. Working your calves is very important, and I feel like they're often neglected, but working your calves is really going to improve that ankle strength and also your stability. Just imagine having huge ass quads and literally no calves. You know, you just want everything to look and feel proportional. So as you can see, after the calf raises, you're gonna go straight into the front lunges once again, and we did 10 on each side. Also, I'm using the terminology superset here in case you're not familiar with what that is. It's basically doing multiple exercises back to back with little rest in between. Supersets for me, it's always 2 exercises. I think people do more than that sometimes, I'm not sure, but for us, we'll always do 1 exercise, maybe a 20-second break in between, and straight into the next one. So although this can be challenging, it also allows you to knock out 2 exercises within a shorter time frame. So overall, supersets are tough, but by the time I'm done, I'm happy I kind of got them over with. So the next and last exercise we're doing for this lower body day is the leg press machine. I will say this is a newer machine and exercise for me. I typically never ever use the leg press machine. I forgot just how good the leg press machine is though. Like, this is really going to work your legs. I specifically feel these heavily in my quads. Although I do really feel these in my quads, they do work multiple muscle groups in your legs, including your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, and your calf muscles. Your calf muscles actually play a really important role in supporting those other muscle groups in your legs. So this exercise is definitely going to work those calves as well. This is a newer exercise for me, as I stated previously, so I don't have the most to say form-wise because I'm sure mine isn't perfect in itself. But I will say the biggest thing, and this goes for any exercise ever, is to not let your knees cave in, please. It is just so damaging for your knees. It's never right. I had my feet turned a little bit outwards for this exercise, as you guys can see, which I feel helped to make sure that my knees did not cave in. But yeah, we did 3 sets of 10 for this exercise as well. We started adding a little more weight to it because we typically just stick with the 45s on each side. But we love to finish with machines. Like, machines are what are really going to give your body that burn out that you just feel like you cannot do any other exercise afterwards. But that is it for day 1, and we are on to our next day. Alright you guys, so today's video is partnered with HelloFresh, which could not be a better collaboration for today's video because your nutrition and what you're eating and just eating consistently is so important, if not more important than fitness in itself. HelloFresh makes it the least intimidating as possible to make wholesome meals, so you can ditch the meal planning and dive into HelloFresh's biggest menu yet, with over 45 recipes and even more market items to choose from every single week. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this meal I made today was absolutely amazing. I fully indulged in my meal along with the leftovers I had the next day. But you can consistently make delicious food a priority this spring with quick, convenient recipes delivered right to your door. Just choose your meals and select a delivery date. HelloFresh handles all the meal planning, shopping, and most of the prep, so all you have to do is open your box and get cooking. Whether you know how to cook or not, HelloFresh makes the cooking process so easy. I love the way that their menus come just super organized. It has the visual representation as well. I'm definitely a visual learner, so it just makes everything that much easier. Even once I was done cooking this meal, my mom told me how fast, like, oh, you're done already, because it seriously takes maybe 25 minutes. It's crazy. But yeah, I would honestly recommend HelloFresh for anyone, regardless of what your goals are, or even if you don't have any. HelloFresh just makes cooking so convenient and so enjoyable to do. When you sign up today, you'll unlock free desserts for life. You guys can get the party started or enjoy a little pre-dinner treat with the dessert of your choice in every HelloFresh box for free. If any of this interests you in any way, I highly suggest you guys going to hellofresh.com and using code ASLEASWEET for free dessert for life. 1 dessert item per box while subscription is active. That's code ASLEASWEET at hellofresh.com for free dessert for life. Back, here we are with day 2 of my workouts of the week. So we are starting off this day with a HIIT and core workout. So there is going to be core included into the HIIT workout, but we also do a core, like just strictly core session after the HIIT workout. HIIT is an absolutely amazing way to not only build muscle but also burn fat, and we need muscle in order to burn fat. That's why just lifting in general is great, because we really need muscle to do anything. Although I have no goal of burning fat or leaning out, I like the shape that I'm at now. It's still a great way to just build that cardiovascular system and just a good way to tone up overall. And this is also a more beginner friendly workout regimen, I feel like. HIIT workouts you can really customize to your liking. You don't need weight whatsoever. We use weights for some just because, but it's not necessary. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training. So a HIIT workout is going to consist of short bursts of intense work that typically last anywhere between, online it says up to 4 minutes, which is absolutely insane. Ours are up to 25 seconds max. We'll work our way up to 30, but it's 25 seconds at the moment. So starting off this HIIT workout, so I have the app Boxing Timer on my phone, and we're basically working for 25 seconds and we're off for 30. We're doing 4 different exercises and we do 3 rounds of the 4 exercises. So we are starting off this HIIT workout with 25 seconds of jump squats. I'm telling you, barbell squats will give you a burn, but not like jump squats will. Like, the pump is crazy. You cannot even feel your legs by the time you're done with these. Next exercise is a core exercise, and we are doing lemon squeezers. So these can be done multiple different ways. As you can see here, I'm not using my hands as that added support system, but if this is a newer exercise for you, you can happily place your arms right behind you in a bent position to help give you support to get through this exercise. Next exercise are our backwards lunges. These are another single leg lower body exercise that work your glutes, your hamstrings, and even your core, especially because these require balance. I really like to throw in a single leg lower body exercise any chance I can get. But yeah, as you can see, I'm using a plate for these, but you could easily do these with no weight. You could just keep your hands on your hips, whatever works best for you. So the last exercise for our HIIT circuit are mountain climbers. Mountain climbers are another great core exercise that are also going to get your heart rate up. So with this exercise, you're essentially alternating your knees to your chest in a plank position. So you're basically running against the ground.
Let's go.
guys, we are starting this core day with Russian twists, which are a great way to work your obliques, which are kind of like the side muscles of your core. So it's gonna work those deeper muscles within your core. I would definitely suggest, my legs are going all over the place. Moving forward, I'll be more cautious of that. But this is a really good core exercise, and this is the first one that we started off with. And then I couldn't find a specific name for these. I know it's an actual exercise, but we're just gonna call them dumbbell in and outs. They're kind of like a variation of the lemon squeezers we did. I'm not sure how much of a difference these are gonna make as opposed to the lemon squeezers. I feel like it's generally the same exact exercise. We're just kind of using that rotating motion at the same time. But this was definitely a good one. I for sure felt the burn with these. Our next exercise is a 1-minute plank, and the only word I could use to describe planks are brutal. They engage not only your entire core, but honestly your whole body. It is so important to work your core because these are our main stabilization muscles that we use throughout, daily life, but just exercising in general. It all comes down to your core. Throughout any exercise, your core should always be engaged, and with your core being strong, you're less likely to become injured during your exercises because a strong core provides crucial support for your spine. Also, a lot of back injuries can be caused by a weak core. So overall, it's just really important to make sure you are including core within your workout split. I don't even do core as often as I would like to, but I'd say we're, one step in the right direction. Last exercise within our core circuit are inchworms. Sometimes I'll add a push-up to the bottom of these when I'm in that plank position, but I already did push-ups earlier. My arms were wiped. But this exercise is not only going to build core strength, but just your overall total body strength. They're also a really good mobility exercise. As you can see, even the start of the movement, I'm touching my toes essentially. So it definitely takes some mobility and flexibility to do this exercise. I try to even go a little bit past the typical plank position just to really work and challenge my core, but that is not necessary. That is just me being extra and wanting to get more out of the movement. So to start off our upper body day, we always start with bench press. Honestly, I just enjoy doing bench press. I like to see my progress of building strength with this exercise. I don't specifically have a huge desire, if any, to grow my chest per se. So this is really just something I like to do for strength and enjoyment purposes. Like, imagine being able to say you bench a plate like 135. That's crazy. So we like to start off with 2 warm-up rounds. I'm starting off with the bar, and then I like to add on some 10s, and these are what I consider my warm-up sets because they're not really a challenge for me. I am not a bench press professional whatsoever. I actually had a man come up to me in the gym sometime last week kind of giving me tips on my form, and it helped me a lot. I always appreciate when people come up to me to help me with that. But as you can see, I'm bringing the bar down to my chest, and I bring it to like the bottom of my sports bra, if that makes sense. and then I'm driving it back upwards. I'm kind of pushing my chest towards the ceiling to have the slightest arch in my lower back. Nothing crazy. You don't want your butt to come off the bench or anything for, I mean, at least the type of bench press I'm doing. I'm also going to have an even grip on the bar, and my thumb is going to be placed around the bar. You're not going to have like your whole hand cuffed on one side, if that makes sense. Is me contemplating if I should do another rep or not, because I tend to do these until failure, but I told myself that, like, girl, it's okay, like, just, that was fine. Alright, so we are now doing seated cable rows, and these are a full upper body movement, but they're specifically going to work your back. So to start this exercise, I'm extending my legs, but as you can see, I still have a slight bend. You don't want to do these with your legs even more bent than I have them here, because then your knees are gonna like run into your arms. It's just not gonna work. So just a slight bend is good enough. Before I start actually pulling the cable, I like to keep my shoulders, like I roll them back, because you don't want to be hunched over and bent over in this movement. You want to have a flat back. If you ever feel like an exercise or an amount of weight kind of taking you over, opposed to you taking over the exercise and being in control of the movement, it is completely valid and okay to go down in weight, because form is so much more important than the amount of weight that you are lifting. Honestly, as everything in life, exercises, especially this one for example, everything's just all about alignment. So as you can see, I'm keeping my head neutral. I don't have it like bent all the way back or bent forward. We just want everything to be aligned. Like you can kind of just see the alignment like throughout my whole body. Also for this exercise, imagine you're pulling towards your stomach, like your belly button. You want to pull with this exercise closer to your stomach as opposed to further up. There are different variations that work different parts of your back where you don't have to necessarily pull as low, but I would suggest starting by pulling towards your belly button. Okay, so for these, they're actually the next two exercises because we are now doing another superset, but we are starting off with our bent over rows. So as you can see, I kind of have my knee in the back corner of the bench, like towards the side, because we're kind of leaning over and we're just on one side of the bench. I think you're supposed to bring your elbow like straight up towards your shoulder. Like I may be going a little wider with my pull. I'm not sure. I've always done them this way and I feel like I do feel them in my back, but don't quote me on this form. I would definitely look into it yourself, but I try to get my shoulders past my torso. As you guys can see, my shoulder being pulled past like the alignment of the rest of my body. So to make this a superset, and for our last upper body exercise of the day, we are supersetting with some tricep extensions. So triceps are a much smaller muscle group in your arms, so it doesn't take nearly as much to feel a burn in your triceps. So long story short, I definitely feel this exercise. So as you can see, I'm starting by holding the dumbbell overhead while grasping the inside of the dumbbell plate's surface. and I am bending my elbows and I'm lowering the weight behind my head while keeping my core engaged. Then I am going back into my bent over row exercise. We go through 3 rounds of this superset, and then that was all for today's upper body day. There's definitely other exercises we like to do, but this is just what we happen to do for this week.
I don't can't keep explaining myself. Can't keep explaining myself. Damn, let's go. This another.
Alright, starting off this glutes and hamstrings day, you already know what we're starting with. We are starting with the infamous Bulgarian split squats. I dread these before they even begin, but they are so good to not only strengthen your quads, but your hamstrings, your glutes, and your calves. But you definitely mostly feel these in that posterior chain, which includes tons of muscles, but in this case specifically, I'm talking about your glutes and your hamstrings immensely. This exercise really allows you to work those muscles one at a time, which also makes them that much harder. So there's a lot of different variations to this exercise. I personally use dumbbells, and not only that, but you might be able to tell I'm slightly bending forward with this exercise. So if your torso is going to be more upright, as I'm not doing here, but as you can do Bulgarian split squats, they are going to work your quads more. But if you have a slight forward lean, this is going to engage your glutes more, so you're going to feel it more in that backside area. I use dumbbells, but people will also use just like a bar on their back. They can, like, you could use anything, honestly. People do them on the Smith machine. I don't use the Smith machine personally for anything. I don't like to use it, but I personally feel the most comfortable doing Bulgarians with dumbbells. So our next exercise for our glutes and hamstrings day are going to be hip thrusters. So normally I always do these with a dumbbell. We just use the biggest dumbbell we can get, which is typically the 120-pound dumbbell. But you know, using the 120-pound dumbbell, that's the heaviest we can do. So we decided to use the barbell today because it was a slower day here at the gym, so we had, like, it was accessible to use. So yeah, this was my first time doing, thrusters with any sort of barbell in a very long time. But thrusters are great for building strength and power in your glutes along with your hips. They can help prevent lower back pain because they're also strengthening your lower back muscles as well. Hip thrusts allow you to build strength and size in your glutes in a way that many other exercises just can't do. Hence the reason they are so popular. They worked. And oh my gosh, like, to this day, it's been 2 days since we did this workout, and like, just sitting, pain, like straight in the ass. Like, that is the only place you will be sore from this exercise. Potentially your hamstrings, but I only ever get sore from this exercise in my butt. Honestly, for our typical glutes and hamstrings day, we would do at least 4 exercises, but we were so tapped out at this point. Like, we had been working out for think 8 days straight, because I'd gotten 3 days into filming this video and hated the footage, and I refilmed the whole thing. So we ended off with the leg curl machine on this day. I don't know if you guys saw me kind of like looking up during my set. I was trying to get my friend's attention to let her know that the shit stunk bad. Like, I'm telling you, the machine reeked of both mothballs and urine. Like, I don't even know how that combination, like, it was so specific, but just imagine the two combined and that's what you're getting. And then like your face is super close to it, so it was just not a pleasant experience this time, unfortunately. Oh yeah, once again, you don't have to do these single leg. This is just another exercise I typically tend to do one leg at a time, but the leg curl machine is great for your hamstrings once again, but it also works your calves and your glutes and your quads at the same time. But yeah, these are great for increasing strength and the size of your hamstrings. And once again, this is us ending off the workout with a machine, because it just gives you that burn where there's no coming back. Like, this has to be one of the last things that you do. Also, my friend ended up wiping off the machine with a Victoria's Secret perfume, and it was actually the funniest shit ever.
Alright, you guys, so it is now a few days later. I have completed this video. I never filmed an outro for it. This air filter is probably super loud. It kind of doubles as like white noise for me to go to bed. Also, ignore if I sound a bit congested. It's because I'm getting over being sick. But yeah, due to this video being strictly voiceover for the most part, I didn't end up really filming an outro because I just never talked. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Fitness is a huge part of my life. It is a part of my lifestyle. It has been for at least the last 5 years, and I know you guys have been asking me for this video for the longest time. I've done a few of these videos. I think my first one was about 5 years ago when I was 17, and then I did another one I think a little over a year ago when I lived in Florida, and I've definitely seen you guys asking for it since. So I'm really happy that I finally put this video together for you guys. I hope you guys were able to pick up some beneficial tips or different workouts that you can implement into your routine. And yeah, I am open to doing more of this content if you guys are interested. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know down below, and you know, I'll help to the best of my ability. But with all that being said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.